Why voting in local elections is important?
Voting in your local election is really important because it's the place where you can go to make your voice heard about who represents you with those larger governing bodies and also who's making decisions that are going to impact your day-to-day life.
You're able to affect change at a local level in a way that you can't to the same degree at a higher like provincial or federal level. But the more local you are, the greater the impact you have.
What are you running for?
We're both running for the position of as school board trustees. They oversee the budget, they work closely with the superintendent of the area, with parents, with families, and we are sort of like the conduit, hearing the community concerns, listening to what's going on in our schools, and also to the Ministry of Education as well, representing our school district.
Why should we vote for you?
One of the most important things coming out of the pandemic is the impact it's had on our school kids. All of a sudden, all the kids are back at school. There's been no conversation really around how the last 2 years have impacted on children. I think we need to have broader conversations around how this has affected, the pandemic has affected our children, parents, basically the team that surrounds children in terms of their nurturance. So parents, teachers, support workers and whatnot. We have to have these conversations to kind of get out into the open what it's been like for people over the last 2 years.
So one of the reasons why we stand next to each other and support one another is, we both have a history in our communities and in our work of exhibiting that level of care. My work is as a doula and as a reproductive health advocate and systems change worker, as well as outreach worker with vulnerable communities as well. And so I know a lot about what's going on for families who experience hardship in this area, and also families who may not be experiencing financial or structural barriers, but who have really deep concerns about their children, about schooling.
What makes you a good team?
We both have kids that are actively in the school district right now. So there's that really heart piece of energy investment. We share a lot of values in terms of inclusivity and community care. And we both have a lot of skills and experience in working in sort of systems change, interdisciplinary, collaborative ways. I think both of our records reflect that.
Yeah.
In maybe different areas, maybe yours more from the environmental piece and some of that organizing, and mine from sort of that reproductive health and family support piece.
Our various backgrounds really complement each other a great deal. And ultimately underlying all that in terms of values is just we're human, and we need to see each other as human, and the children ultimately, these are the generations that are coming, and we need to nurture our children as best as possible, especially given how many hours of the day they spend in school. They need to be in safe environments. So education isn't just about numeracy, it isn't just about, it's like the whole child, and it takes a team, a village to raise a whole child.
Do you represent a political party?
I think it's really important that people understand that these local elections, particularly the school board trustee positions, these are very intentionally, they are intended to be non-partisan positions. And so it's really important that we look at our children's well-being and their future and their needs beyond any sort of politicization. So people that you feel are capable of doing that and being measured and considerate outside of personal politics, that's a really important thing to consider when you're voting for your school board trustees.
We don't go in representing a particular political party. We're going in as individuals, as parents. We have all these other hats that we wear, but it's not partisan politics, which can be really divisive and off-putting, especially at the higher levels. So it's very appealing to kind of come in at this level and just, that's not at play in the same sort of way.
It's community service,
yeah,
really.
Community service,
community service.
Yeah.
What's the percentage of voting?
It's low. It's a low number. I think the most recent number I read was somewhere around 30 to 35%. And I think of that 30 to 35%, there's an even lower percentage of people that feel like they really understand what the roles are and how those roles impact. And then, for example, this year in the school board trustee, there's 18 candidates. And I know that a lot of people simply don't have the capacity, to do research on 18 people, and that alone can put people off voting at all, and that's a shame, because we need people at the polls. We need people to feel like their voice can be heard, and even though there's 18 people, if you only vote for, you don't have to fill your ballot. There's 7 spots for school board trustee, and you can build your dream team, but it's more important that you know who you're voting for, what they stand for, and that you stand by that, then you try to fill your ballot. So ideally, you vote for 7 people that you feel really clear and strong and connected to. But if you only have the time to really deeply research 3 or 4 or 2, that's also okay. It's just really important your voice is heard.